And to be honest with you, I felt like that election was the worst decision one would have to make. You know what I mean? I don't think that election really gave the American
look how bad
people
Hillary
a fair
is.
chance. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, you couldn't, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like fucked up and fucked upper. You know what I'm saying? And I the thing that Hillary had that was the edge on her, that everyone wanted to see the first female president.
Sure, and I'd love it to be a woman that isn't a warmonger and a lying witch.
Well,
by the way, in bed with the Russians massively. Oh my God.
Whoa. Speaking of the Russians, so look, we talked about your contribution to the election of the president. What about the Russians? You're a conspiracy theorist. What happened there?
Oh, I got to tell you, that's a case of Hillary did uranium one, gave him 25% of our uranium. She was in deep trouble. Robert Mueller had been the bag man delivering him uranium on the tarmac. She'd done a legal deal with the Russians when she was Secretary of State. So they knew that Trump was going to be able to use that against him. So they sent in all these agents to try to set up Trump and his people to make deals with the Russians, but they didn't really exist. Also, you can go to Russia and buy bots and internet advertising, but 80% of it that was done was for Hillary. And so that was all just a big smokescreen to make it look like the election of Donald Trump wasn't legitimate.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole thing's turned out to be a hoax. It's like Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court justice. Two women have just gone public and said, we were never called. We never met him. These are the women that they were saying. These were the women they were saying in the news he had sexually assaulted. It was just made up.
So you're saying Brett Kavanaugh has sexually assaulted no one? That's what you're saying?
In every case except for Blasey Ford.
Are you saying Brett Kavanaugh assaulted no one?
I'm saying that absolutely, they've had no proof. There were no police reports.
Brett Kavanaugh assaulted nobody.
Yeah, 35, 40 years ago, there's no police reports, no witnesses at the time, and almost all the people have said that they were threatened to say it or that they were paid to say it.
You said almost. Listen, because this
Except for Blasey Ford.
Okay, Blasey Ford. All right.
The evil chipmunk.
Whatever. This bottle of water you're drinking, it's approximately 8 ounces, correct? If I drop a fraction of an ounce of shit water in there,
I'm not going to drink it.
You dig what I'm saying? You dig what I'm saying? So one little drop of shit water makes an entire bottle of water undrinkable, does it not?
There's due process.
I asked, does it not?
But you're famous. What are you going to do 30 years from now? People line up and lie about you.
I ain't raped nobody. Everything that's done around me and is done in my company and my presence
what I'm saying.
Is all fair and consensual.
I believe you.
I've never,
I wasn't
ever,
accusing you of that.
Guess what? But if you look at me, you see I ain't got to. You look at Brett Kavanaugh, well, you know.
But under due process.
And this is just me speaking.
Under due process,
I'm just speaking as a playboy.
You can't 40 years later when you don't have any witnesses. And it turns out just this week.
They did it to Bill Cosby. How come they can't do it to Brett Kavanaugh? They did it to Bill Cosby.
I don't think Bill Cosby deserves to be in prison. I've said that, and people criticize me for it. They don't have any. These women go up to these hotel rooms, and they're Playboy bunnies, and then they claim 40 years ago or 30 years ago he drugged them.
Okay.
I mean, listen, the due process, that's why there's statute of limitations.
Right.
You're supposed to listen, I had NPR.
Uh-huh.
Go and interview people from high school.
Okay.
That said that I beat up 30 nerds, and then one day they kidnapped me and tied me up and knocked my teeth out. I never started a fight with a nerd. I wasn't a bully.
Right.
That's a damn lie. So, when you get lied about like that,
right.
You start not believing the stuff you see out there where they don't have any proof.
Well,
and there's the thing. Here's the thing. I can say you just raped me in that bathroom. If I don't have proof, I don't have it. You didn't rape me in the bathroom. And I'm saying, I'm not defending Brett Kavanaugh.
I appreciate you saying that I did.
No, you know what I'm saying. You can say that I raped you. It's not true.
Right.
I mean, man.
I understand where you're coming from and what you're saying, but you do know that there's some tangled webs of misconception.
Sure. Can I just say this, though?
Absolutely. You can say whatever you want.
All the studies show that 3G, 4G, and 5G give humans and animals they've tested on giant brain tumors.
Okay.
It's true that breast cancer that is estrogen positive is up over 3,000%, and it was incredibly rare everywhere until glyphosate was put out there.
Right.
And now we know, and they found in court, and they found scientifically that they knew that glyphosate from that big company was giving people cancer. I was covering it 25 years ago and getting threatened to shut up. I didn't shut up. I had the scientist on. It grows prostate cancer. It grows
3G and 5G.
and glyphosate, all of it. And so what I'm
And where do you find glyphosate?
It's in every water table in the Western world.
Every water table?
It's in the water. It's in the aquifers.
It's like fluoride.
Okay. Fluoride was used in the Soviet Union in the water supply at forced labor camps to make people docile and infertile.
All right.
When the Nazis and the Russians at the start of World War II were allies, they divided Poland. This is all in Pulitzer Prize-winning books.
Right.
Stalin gave Hitler the fluoride system to suppress people.
All right.
Then in 1949, they start putting it in our water. There's thousands of studies it lowers IQ. There are thousands of studies it reduces fertility. And I'm not saying this because you're an African American. I have had all the scientists on, top toxicologists.
I want you to say it because
that said, for whatever reason, fluoride hurts women
Right.
about 3 times less than men because of women's blood-brain barrier.
Okay.
It hurts men 3 times more, and then it hurts black men twice what it hurts any other man genetically.
Okay.
So
why does it hurt black men more genetically?
that is on average, and that's in Harvard studies.
I mean, but is there a reason
That's
why?
in JAMA studies. You just type in fluoride hurts blacks more than any other group, and men particularly.
Okay.
And it deals with some type of issue with the blood-brain barrier. And, of course, that's all averages. Everybody's pretty close, but there's different averages and this and that. And if you just look it up, you want to know what's really hitting black people.
Tell me.
Fluoride on any male that drinks it lowers IQ massively.
Any male?
Any male.
Not female?
Women, not as much.
Okay.
Because their blood-brain barrier, because they've got to be able to carry a child. They've got a much stronger blood-brain barrier.
Got you.
A woman's got to be able to have a baby with a different blood type that pees in her.
Right.
And sometimes craps in her.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it's
I mean, over the course of 9 months, I'm sure he craps in her quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this really goes on. I'm not putting babies down. I'm saying women.
Well,
any doctor will tell you women aren't tougher in a fist fight, but women, gunshot wounds, stab wounds, starving, any poison.
Right.
It takes more poison to kill a woman.
Right.
So women are, as babies, are tougher.
Okay.
And so
I have daughters and sons, so I know the difference in female evolution versus male evolution. My daughters, they talked sooner, they walked sooner, they were potty trained sooner. Now, once they get to be about, I say 7, 8, you know what I mean? It kind of balances out a little bit, you know what I mean? Based on how much time, effort, and energy you've put into, like, what they consume.
exactly, but I'm just saying, if you got a white baby, a brown baby, a black baby,
Right.
you don't want to give them fluoride. But if they're a boy, you sure as hell don't want to give them to them because.
But how can you not give it to them if that's the water that's coming out of your
You've
your
got to
systems?
filter it, and it's got to be the proper type. But I swear to God, we consider talking about white.
Speaking of babies,
Yeah.
Speaking of babies, this is something that's very, very near and dear to me and my concerns and things that I am very, very, very passionate about. Vaccinations.
Oh. Okay.
Vaccinations. What's with vaccinations?
Okay. I believe, and the science is real. They always say, "Oh, you don't believe in science." Going back 600 years ago in England, they learned how if a cow had smallpox, you wanted to give it to your kids when they were healthy instead of when they were sick. Because if your kids already had the flu or a cold and got it, it'd kill them 90% of the time. But if you gave them smallpox on a toothpick,
Sure.
they'd poke the pus and they'd stick it in your arm and you get a scar. But most of the time you live. You only died like 3% of the time.
What?
Yeah. Now,
I don't want my baby having nothing to cause him to die 1% of the time.
No, I agree.
Why in the fuck would you do that?
I'm not defending it. I'm the guy that they try to ban for saying this. The inserts on vaccines say they don't protect you, and they say they can kill you. Not the fact sheet.
What the
You
fuck?
got to act for the insert that comes in the package. I'm getting chills. It's so important. My mom almost died taking a flu shot. My uncle almost died taking a tetanus shot.
Right.
And they have a secret vaccine fund. Speaking of Reagan, this happened under Reagan, where they pay people off secretly
Right.
because so many millions were getting damaged from it. My grandmother, who just died 2 years ago at 92, she got a second round of polio shots in 1955,
Right.
and the doctor told her, you got polio, and it almost killed her from the vaccine. So you're damn right. We have a government with a history of injecting people with syphilis
Absolutely.
in vaccines.
Absolutely.
Why are we now going to trust them when they tell us that this is great? I know people in the military where they had certain units when they gave them the anthrax shots
Right.
where people died in almost every unit from the so-called anthrax shot. So this is secret government experimentation going on, and it's not that vaccine science isn't real. It's that there's side effects, and they're jacking it with stuff, and 90% of our vaccines are made in communist China.
I'm going to tell you two things. That I find hard to believe about vaccines, or that confuse me about vaccines. First, if the vaccines work and my child haven't been vaccinated, and it's a classroom full of children that have been vaccinated,
why the hell does your kid got to take it if they're supposedly protected?
Why does my kid have to have a vaccine? Why is my kid threatened to not be admitted into class because he or she doesn't have a vaccine if the other children do have vaccines and the vaccines actually work?
By the way, you just said it, and I interrupted you. Say it again. If my child hadn't had a vaccine, but this vaccine works 100% of the time, is safe and effective, then all these other kids are protected. How are they saying my kid's bad and going to make their kids sick if supposedly they're protected? Because the truth is the flu shot's never been correct. They've never guessed the next year's mutation. And if you look at the studies, taking one flu shot doubles your chances, Canadian study by the government, 2008, doubles your chances. Taking the flu shot doubles your chances of getting the flu the next year. It's BS. It lowers your immunity, and you can't trust these companies.
This is true. And speaking of companies, Purdue, who produces OxyContin and like one of the largest distributors of opioids in this country, which is also one of the largest contributors of the opioid epidemic. They were being sued. They were being sued by 2,000 plus people, victims that have been affected by the drug, and I believe there was said to have been in conversations to settle in the tune of $12 billion. Now, why is it that I just hear that Purdue is looking to file bankruptcy? Could you tell the people what the strategy may be for that and the impact it may have on the American public?
Well, sure. What happens is once these companies know they're about to lose lawsuits, they declare bankruptcy so that they don't have to pay out all the money, and so the people that actually did it get away with it. And a lot of those companies, their own documents have come out, their business plan is to make a new, more addictive opioid to beat all the others. And then they think by the time that ever happens, they'll just declare bankruptcy and already moved it over into other companies. So I think you knew the answer to your own. But that's
absolutely. I just wanted to see if you're going to tell the truth.
Tell the truth. I'm
saying I just wanted to. We're getting to know each other.
No, but everything's perspective. I'm trying to be truthful here.
Absolutely.
And so I'll give you that actually some of the things Trump has said have been divisive, and that was I was just you get so used to being attacked because I've supported Trump that you just start defending him.
That's right.
But nobody's perfect, and I agree.
Right is right and wrong is wrong.
He can be less divisive.